Crosswell, welcome to a midweek Fearless in Devotion, sponsored by the Fat Boar, the best place on York Street, bar none. They have other outlets as well, don't they? What's your favourite other outlet, Tim?
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Trying to name your favourite child.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, he hasn't given me any freebies for a while, so it should be hard
Oh
pushed to say,
wow!
shouldn't I?
Oh.
Yeah, they all go to Mr. Randall's house, I think.
Um,
Um, I,
Carnivore. I think the Carnivore is good.
yeah, it kind of was good, but the boar is the jewel in the York Street crown.
Yes,
So
it
there we
is.
are.
It is. Right. Please sign up to the newsletter if you can. It's great. First one came out today, and there was plenty in there, including Tim's opus on the players who have left.
Fucking hell. I watched the Wales game with that in the background. I looked up and the game had finished. I was like, fucking Jesus
The game had
Christ.
finished, and you were only on Luke Bolton.
Yeah. It was, yeah. I didn't miss a classic, to be honest. It was pretty dull from what I did catch. But yeah, got 16 players, man. That was a lot.
Yeah,
That is a lot. It's kind of
we've
dawning
got
on me now.
13 in and shipped 16 out. So we're actually at a negative, which
I,
surprised
I
me a little bit.
I'd love to know what the teams have done similar at this level. I remember Nottingham Forest did it a few years ago. They had massive turnover of players. Um, it didn't work the first season. So yeah, watch this space with us.
Yeah. Right. Before we get into a QPR preview with a member of their pod fraternity, let's talk about tickets. Now, I sort of mentioned last episode that it was a hell of a lot of it was a big undertaking for fans to buy 5 lots of tickets in one go. That was the ballot for 5 home games. It turns out that you didn't need to spend 5 lots on tickets because no, it seems like not a lot of people got what they wanted from the ballot. Now, I think firstly we need to sort of like say that the club is in a bad position on this because there's no real fair way to try and do it. They've got a lot of members and they want to try and make it as fair as possible for every member to get a ticket. I mean, I've just seen a lot of, and you have Tim as well. I know you put a tweet out earlier. A lot of people sort of saying on Facebook, even before we sort of thought about doing anything on this, saying, "Yeah, went for seven ballots. I've gone in for now, no tickets. 3 ballots and none yet." And then you sort of hear things like, "Oh, there's a woman in work who's got all 6." I know it's sort of Chinese whispers, but a lot of the people who were saying I don't have the tickets are names I recognise and names I
Mm.
know that have been going for quite a few years. And I think it's quite hard to sort of to balance out. Really, I mean, the way I sort of see it is so Radiohead were announced a load of gigs, and I'm quite a Radiohead fan, but there was a ballot, so I entered it, and it will be for me if I get a Radiohead ticket, I'll be there. Oh, that's nice. And if I don't, I won't worry about it. It will be fine. But I think people are entering the ballots, getting the tickets, and maybe they're not the people who've been going for 6 or 7 years, but they've got as much right to a ticket as anyone else. So I sort of get it from the club's point of view and the fans' point of view. Where do you sort of sit on it, Tim?
Difficult. It's difficult because you could do another hour on this and really stretch it out and discuss it at length. But it doesn't matter what system you put in. It's not going to suit everybody. It's going to suit some people more than others. It's going to feel unfair to other people and more fair to others. So you're never going to get a system like that in place that's going to keep everybody happy. It's just, I mean, we're fortunate. We're not doing the stones from glass houses situation here because we're fortunate enough that we do have season tickets. But I'm trying to look at it in the sense of if I didn't and when I didn't, how would I feel
Yeah,
about it? And yet there is this kind of needle of, oh, but I was there at Lee RMI years ago when Michael Jones was in goal and we had a nightmare and I deserve a ticket and all this sort of stuff. It's a difficult situation to get right. There's a lot of justification behind the idea, well, the fact that the idea that the club never mentioned anything about a ballot when
yeah.
they put all the memberships on sale.
No, I agree with that.
Which the cynic in most of us says you must have known about it. Why didn't you tell us about it at the time? Something like this doesn't just suddenly magic out of thin air. A season, a couple of weeks before the season starts, it just doesn't work that way. So whilst the club have done an awful lot right, and it's very few things that they've got wrong, this is probably one of them that there is a big question mark looming large over it. It's not going to change anytime soon. That was pointed out to me
You're
earlier
not
on.
going as far to say they've got it wrong. You're just sort of saying there's a question mark over it.
Again, I can't categorically say, well, yeah, they've definitely got it wrong because I'm not in that situation. So you garner an opinion from other people, and
Yeah.
the vast majority, a lot of people are saying that from the tweet you put out, exactly what I've just echoed is that it's not going to suit everybody. But then on the flip side, with them muddying the waters of having a loyalty scheme and a loyalty system coming into play as well. So it's the whole thing of like, oh right, I haven't got a season ticket, so I've got to go in for this ballot, and I'm going to go in for 5. And if you hit all 5, let's say you
Yeah,
get lucky at all
that's
5,
a massive financial
a
burden
massive,
and time as
massive,
well. Yeah.
and that's before you've even considered getting an away ticket. Lest we forget, do you know what I mean?
There was 7 games have gone up in the last 5 days.
I mean that that bothers me a lot. That bothers me. Maybe bite-sized chunks. You know, that we've discussed this on other things before, where there's a significant financial outlay. If that's a season ticket,
Yeah.
everybody Klarna's everything these days. Give us 3 interest-free payments. We'll pay first bit off here, first bit off there. Job done. Why can't that be done? Why isn't that an option? You know, why? Remember when it wasn't that long ago we discussed the possibility of having a half season ticket long
Yeah.
before this all happened. So it's kind of like a strange situation where we never thought we'd ever be discussing this, where people are having a massive virtual bun fight over tickets. Never
Mm.
thought the day would come, and now it's here. So you just kind of almost be careful what you wish for. And I can imagine, I can very well imagine what it'd be like. It would be horrible, especially if you're in a position where you're an emergency service worker, you're a shift worker, where it
You
makes
got
no
a season ticket
sense.
doesn't. Yeah, a season ticket does not suit you.
No, it doesn't suit where you go, you know what? I think somebody put on the comments before, you know, I work a lot more weekends through the winter months. And whilst in this championship season, a lot of these games are going to be changed, you know, for one way or another. They're going to be changed maybe a day either side to a silly kickoff. So let's just assume that those people can't make those games because of that very reason. They work weekends or whatever. Why would you want to shell out for X, Y, and Z for so many games you're going to miss? The only advantage to that now is that you can then put that on the ticket exchange. And to be fair, somebody did say before that if you do miss out on the ballot, then there's some people who have missed out on the ballot that have gone and got successful tickets via the ticket exchange when they've appeared on there. So I suppose there is more than one way of this happening. The problem we've got is there is no temporary cop. That's been
Yeah.
stripped away. The
Yeah.
demand is even higher than it's ever been because of the standard we're now at. The
Yeah.
people we're going to be facing, the players we've now got, you know, and that's not there. And I do wonder, and I'm sure this will be a question we ask of the club in the coming weeks, hopefully, if we get a few people from there on. But I do wonder if they ever explored that idea of still having something there, something, and then taking it away the very last minute, like building from behind, having it there. But then I imagine with
I
that
don't know
comes,
if you can do that. I don't know if you can safely get
yeah,
people in and out of
this is the
those
thing.
things
It's a massive
with
health and
wood
safety.
building works. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a huge health and
don't want to
safety
be a health and
disaster.
safety prick, but
No, yeah,
it does
yeah.
sound fraught with
I mean,
someone will
you might be
like
given a hard hat, and that would at least shield you from
that'd
the
be
elements.
brilliant. That would
You
save
know,
you from one of Jay Rodriguez's shots.
Bob the Builder stance.
Um, Right, let's read a couple of comments. There's been some really good ones. Friend of the pod, Neil Smith says it's an argument that will keep going, won't it? Surely the fairest way is first come, first served. He's only got lucky so far with Coventry. He managed to bag a last minute West Bromwich Albion ticket, but now he has to wait to the end of October to watch his team play again. It's a farce, but he can't think of a counter argument of fairness that doesn't make him sound like a prick. He says, you know, I've never received any "you have a ticket, you are unsuccessful" emails, so he doesn't really know what's going on there on the process of it. It's just he thinks, and this will be echoed quite a few times. He thinks it's ridiculous that the club are still selling memberships. It has to cap the membership numbers so then we can have a normal sale. It's only the ballot because the club are still allowing people to buy memberships. But from a point of view, I still understand that because it's a cash flow for the club, and why, you know, it's not good business sense to suddenly just pass away money, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the issue they've got. I mean, I do wonder, but I can't think of many of the clubs that have been in a similar situation. Oh
It's
yeah, you've
quite,
got
yeah, no,
quite a
no,
unique
yeah,
case study, isn't
it is
it?
definitely.
You know, you haven't got
Demand
another
is
club
higher
that
than
has,
ever before.
yeah. Or you got, yeah. Can you think of any of the clubs that have done 3 promotions in a row that have had to take one stand away in order to build another one to keep up with supply and demand in a fair way? Probably not. So you have to look further afield to see if anybody else has got. Well, I'm convinced. I'm convinced, right, that there is a team of well-meaning people behind the scenes that they're trying to get this right, because everybody at that club is under scrutiny. Let's not
Mm,
forget Parky and his players for a minute. That pressure is in its own little bubble. But I think there's a separate bubble of pressure with the administration, the ticketing, and everything else to get these things right. I think there comes a point where we talked about infrastructure catching up, and it has slowly caught up. But I think people we're now at a point where we go, "Well, okay, well, you've had 4 years at this now. There has to be a reasonable amount of professionalism and due diligence to get things like this right, including, I know we might as well briefly mention it, the whole thing with Radio X and Chris Moores and him calling out the club like nobody's answering us, we're not getting any replies and emails, this, that, and the other. I mean,
yeah, that's just puts a megaphone on a problem that
yeah,
a lot of us have.
it
Uh,
does.
yeah,
But again, it's one of those. You go to other places, their ticket office has got like 10 to 15 people in it. Our
mm,
ticket office is still the size of a bus stop, realistically. So,
yeah.
we've still got to play catch up, but we're still behind the curve in that respect, I think.
Right, let's read a few more. Stop me if there's anything that you think we should comment more on. Joe Budget, I like that name. Good to budget for tickets. Says the floor is not the ballot. The flaw is that the membership was not frozen last season, and the club are still actively promoting memberships. There was no mention of a ballot pre-season when the memberships are due for renewal, and now they say there's a ballot in a fair way, but then they keep increasing the pool. Philip Nicola says it's frustrating but also fair. There's no system that will keep everyone happy when supply exceeds demand, with a proviso that success rates should be similar for everyone over the season. I speak as someone with 2 out of 7 West Brom and Oxford success rate. I mean, a lot of some people I have seen on comments are saying, "Look, I don't have a season ticket. I do have a membership, and I was thinking about how many tickets are actually free. I don't know how many do you reckon? 1,000, 2,000. So your
Yeah.
away stand is going to be full every time. It's not going to be a case where you can sell half of those tickets back. I think there's 6,500 season ticket holders. So I think you're looking at about 2,000 tickets floating about. So if you sort of do that,
Almost a quarter. It's almost
yeah.
a quarter of the capacity, isn't it? Whichever way you look at it.
Hmm.
So, you know,
So you could sort of think, right? Would you get 2 or 3 games a season for your rank and file out of that? And that's fair as long as everyone gets the 2 and 3. And you sort of hear that I've had none, and someone else has had all of them.
and you know what? This kind of just give me a bit of a thought process to all this. And we debated the other day about whether this has an effect to the atmosphere at home. And some people said yes. Some people said
Well, yes.
categorically no.
Sorry, can I
That we're
just come back
numbskulls.
before you go in on that?
Yeah.
So my sort of analogy earlier about Radiohead and would if I got a ticket, right? If I get into Radiohead, I know some of the songs. I'll sing along for a little bit. I'll buy some stuff and I'll quite enjoy it. But I won't be the fervent Radiohead fan who could have been there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I have any less right to be there. It just means that the level of concert could have been there, but because there's a lot of people like me, it's actually down there a little bit.
To quote a song by our good Wrexham boys, Neck Deep, all hype, no heart, I guess. So it's a bit like me trying for
Ooh,
Oasis tickets last year. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't get any. I'm not fussed because I saw them a couple of years ago, but I just thought I'd
yeah,
chance my arm because I got involved in the whole, I want to see how many people are ahead of me in the Ticketmaster queue.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just think that those people who miss out, who may be then successful in getting an away ticket, that added kind of enjoyment factor of going away and feeling part of that select group, if you
Fraternity,
like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and you
yeah.
feel, and then And then it doesn't matter whether you're an old school fan who's been unsuccessful in getting tickets and you're back there, you think, yes, I'm back where I belong and where I've missed it, or whether you're a new fan, an overseas fan, they're like, this is amazing. It's a
But they're
very
taking it
different
all in
experience.
rather than
Well, it's a
actually
day,
get.
isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
spectacle. It's an occasion. It's a day. It's not just from 12:30, 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock, give or take. So yeah, it's a saga that's probably going to run and run. But you know what? Just sorry about me and you waffling on. If anybody has got any legitimately good ideas to rectify this sort of situation or can tweak it, anything, we're all ears. We're all ears. And if there's anything that's good of it, we'll pass it on. We'll pass it on to the powers that be of the
yeah, no,
club.
we'll do. But,
100%.
but
That's the least we can do. This entire platform is to provide a fan's voice. So let's do that.
I'm just going to read a couple more, and then we'll sort of move on this. Kiz, who we all know, says all tickets home and away should be sold one game at a time, and where possible, when time's allowed, at least a month in advance to give people to make proper arrangements, reduce travel costs. Now, I completely agree with that because I didn't know. For example, I didn't know if I was going to get a Norwich ticket. And I don't want to book my train until I know I've got that ticket in my hand. Actually, I don't have that ticket in my hand. And this is another point that the £9 postage and packaging on tickets is killing me. That's my biggest bugbear. Not
I, th-
forget the fact that
I think
Norwich.
they are changing it, aren't they? I think
Yeah,
they're very
okay.
au fait
Well,
about that.
but
Oh,
that is it's too much, and also the fact that I have to be in to sign for it. It's not a great system that for me. But I understand. I
so
understand.
so that 5 games takes you to Oxford, does it? The 5 games that were announced. So that takes you to the 22nd of October.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's say that the club are going to face the wrath and they do it again, right? They go, we're gonna do another 5. You're then looking at, you would assume it would be November into December, and then imagine the financial burden on top of Christmas.
Yeah.
And there's some decent away games in and around that as well. It's a lot of money, man. And I know, I,
Well, we touched on this. Like the championship prices are out of control, and can I just re sort of reverberate what we said on the weekend? If you're going to Norwich and you're paying the £37, please do not spend money there.
food
Please,
shit anyway. Since deal is gone,
yeah. I mean, the food's not going to be great there anyway. Please do not spend money there because they're already
in the ground, out
yeah
the
in the
ground's fine.
ground. They're already fleecing us. Look, please don't do that.
Compared to what we're charging for Birmingham, lest we forget, 26 quid a ticket. That's
Yeah,
and loads of Birmingham fans, to their credit, said
yeah,
this is
that's
good,
good.
isn't it? I
Mm.
mean, the view might not be great. They can still complain about the view and the girder in the way, but 26 quid for the Hollywood Derby, in inverted commas,
Yeah. Right.
26 quid is good.
Let's tie this up. I want to finish on one comment from Baz. He says the ballot is shit, but every other way they would do it is also shit. The actual problem is 3,000 fewer seats, and there's no getting around that. If the club told us how many tickets are available for each game and how many members we have, people may have a better understanding of the scale of the problem. I agree with that. Look, we've talked to the club about this. I talked to a representative earlier, and two things I think we need to sort of really nail down on this. One is a loyalty system is not dead. It's developed a little bit because we've talked a little bit with Barry came on about the FAB, the Fan Advisory Board. Now they've been tasked with sorting a loyalty scheme that is ratified by the FSB. So stay with me on the acronyms, which is the Fans Supporters Bureau.
Bureau?
Bureau.
Is there a bureau?
It
Bureau
sounds
de
shit in
change?
a bureau. Yeah, fan
French.
supporters. Oh, FSA, Supporters
Yeah.
Association.
You
I'm
should know that. We won that award for Club
yeah,
Podcast of the Year, Andrew. We're not going to
yeah.
win it this time.
Oh God, no. Right. So they want it to be proper. They want it to be ratified. They want it to be something that's been agreed and is tried and tested within other clubs. So that's what they're working towards on that. So it's been dropped back a little bit to make sure it's absolutely fit for purpose. So that is coming down the line. Another thing the club have employed a head of stadium experience. They've got someone in from Liverpool, and this will become part of their remit, sort of spotting problems like this. But their sort of role is with fan engagement, what they sort of get from the club day to day, and how they interact with it. So, as we said before, the club is growing very, very quickly off the field as we march up the leagues, and it is playing catch up to a certain degree. So it's good to see the loyalty system will come in and will be a proper one. I, for one, am happy about that.
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Well, it makes sense until it doesn't make sense. Because when it comes out, it'll be like, well, no, that's not how a loyalty system works. And everybody will have a different take
but
on
on
that.
They will go through how it's worked at Blackburn, how it's worked at Blackpool, how it's worked at Preston, and they will take the best things and jettison the things that don't work, and get it properly ratified by everyone on that FS.
They've been working up a database over the last 4 years.
FAB.
100%. They've been working up a database because for whatever reason, that bookkeeping hasn't existed previously, or it disappeared, or there's been mismanagement of somewhere along the lines where they didn't have that data available to them. So that's happening, not before time. And again, I'm sure they'll make sure there's enough stuff that goes into it to get it right. But anyway, let's bring our QPR guest on, Ben Platt from W12 Podcast. How are you, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for having me. Everyone all good?
Yeah,
Yes.
we just been talking about tickets for 20 minutes, mate. You were well out of that.
Yeah, not
what ticket prices or?
I mean, I'll tell you what, ticket prices always got me when I went to QPR. It was round about, I think last time I went was probably 2002, 2003, and I think it was north of 30 quid then. How much are you charging now?
Yeah, be a little bit more than that. I mean, look, we've brought it up with the club, but the club are adamant that because we're in London, things cost more, stewards, policing, stuff like that. I mean, look, it's frustrating, I guess, how much it is, but they seem to think it's justified. So I don't know.
Things cost more in London. I'm literally up the road from Brisbane Road. I'm in Acton, so yeah. Apart from my high street, everything's quite cheap. But London,
Andy's wall behind him costing 1.4 million, and your wall behind you, Ben, probably costs about 800 grand, give or take. So
yeah.
Mine costs less because we're
right. I've got an opening question for you, Ben.
Yeah.
Do you remember Karl Connolly, and how good was he on a scale out of 1 to 10, 11 being the right answer?
So I don't think he was good for us as he was for you, from what I know. But he was a good player, really good. Good finisher, worked hard. I wouldn't give him an 11, put it that way. But maybe a solid 7.
I'll take 7. Tim, do you want to go in with Ben first?
Ben, just give us an overview of QPR in sort of potted history of the last few years. I did a bit of digging before and kind of sort of mulling around the bottom end of the table. Escape relegation on the final day of the season a few years back, if I'm right in thinking that. So what's gone on there over the last few years? I take it expectation hasn't been met, or has it been met? And has that changed? Has that shifted over the summer with some of the signings that you've made?
So, I mean, look, we were in the Premier League 10 years ago-ish, 11 years ago, and we pissed it away, basically. The opportunity was there. It doesn't happen often. And once you're in it, you want to keep in it, like your Brentfords, your Palaces, and, your Bournemouths, you want to be doing that. But we bought terribly, spent terribly, near on 200 million, I think we ended up spending in wages and players, and it just didn't work out. And Tony Fernandes promised the world and delivered nothing, right? And we've just been feeling that ever since, really. It's taken us probably about 7 or 8, 9 years to really overcome that. We've been fighting FFP, literally fighting it to the pound, I think, for many years. And to be fair, the fact that we're still in the Championship is quite good, and a testament to some of the owners we've had. We've got good owners at the minute, and we've got Amit Batari, and Ruben, and they've got lots of money, right? But we just can't spend because FFP doesn't let you do it, right? In the Championship, you've got restrictions. It's all about what you earn and what you spend. And
why are you being so heavily sort of heavily sort of censored on that. Then is it because of the historic wages, or is it because how many you get through the gate and the sponsorship and things you
Good
bring in?
question. Yeah, so I was just about to sort of kind of move on to that. We had Mark Warburton. We had a season about 3 or 4 years ago. You might not remember or know, but we were really good this year, right? Really good, and we we went really heavy in the summer in January and spent a lot of money on. We bought Charlie Austin back, for example. It was around that time. Played him some big money. Hansen. We were just paying again some silly wages to try and get us over the line. We were like third or fourth come January. And we lost that year 25 million in losses because of it. And you can only lose 38 million in the championship across a 3-year period. So you can imagine
Right.
how tight that was for us. So you waited 3 more years for that to fall off. Well, that fell off last year. So we didn't actually pay for a signing, I don't think, since then. So the last couple of years, last summer and this summer, we've actually started buying some players. It's helped by the money coming in from Sky, and we've sold a few players as well, which is always, for a club like QPR in the Championship, selling players is what we need, is just what we have to do, right? Unless we're going to go for it one season and risk it all, you have to be selling your best players, bringing in. You have to have like a lot of the clubs in this league do that, don't they? Your Bristol Cities, your Stokes, Coventry's. They sell big players and they manage to churn and stay competitive. So yeah, that's where we are. We're in a much better financial position now than we have been, which has enabled us to spend, and we've spent quite well. We've spent 8, 9 million, 10 million this summer. Nothing like you guys, but still for us, that's still quite a lot. And yeah, we don't get enough for it. We don't make enough at Loftus Road. It's just outdated as a stadium in this league.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've just survived, and something's got to give soon. We either got to really go for it, step up, and start expectations got to be higher, or we get relegated.
Just looking at your transfer business. So you didn't keep Charlie Kelman. You sold him to Charlton, who did brilliant in League One last season. Was there a question mark about Ovo if he could really do it in the Championship?
Yes, he was never really sold at QPR. I mean, if you had told me 12 months ago that we would be getting near on 3 plus 5, plus 2, if with near on 5 million for him, I would have literally laughed you out of the room. Like, he never really did it at this level, never really did it on loan, and for whatever reason, last season it seemed to work for him. Everything seemed to fit, and he was the main man. But he was sulking in pre-season. I think he wanted to move. I think it was best for everyone that he moved on, and we were trying to get the best deal. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy. What it meant was we were able to bring in Richard Kone for the same price. And I mean, I'm delighted with that.
Is he a much better? I mean, Tim, we've seen a lot of Kone, haven't we? He's like a one-man strike force, really. He's got a bit of everything, really, isn't he? Has he been that good for you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's only played 170 minutes, and he's scored home and away already. And he's just, I mean, look, when you've been deprived of really good strike, I mean, we haven't had a decent striker really. Naki Wells was decent, but Charlie Austin, Mark 1 or even Mark 2. So to have him in, and he just hustles and bustles and gives the defenders are moaning about him, which is not what we've had. We've always had it the other way around, where our strikers are moaning and then they're being fouled. So it's great to have him, and he's definitely a finisher. So if we can keep him fit, I think he's going to be a really good acquisition.
How much was he? Because it's quite a good price.
Yeah,
5 million. 5 million.
Well, it's kind of the same deal as Cam. We got him for a bit, so 2 and 2.5, 2 million, but there's some add-ons attached to it, depending on goals and how well the club does. So,
his contract was running down, but I still think that's great. That's great business.
Yeah, I mean, we got the Eze money as well, which was about 7 or 8 million. I don't know how that's worked out, whether that's worked out over a certain amount of years, but that's helped us this summer as well, bring in some money signings.
So what's the expectation this year then? Is it because you don't want to be that team that finishes 14th, 15th? I mean, we all thought we were all going to be Wrexham fans. We'll be that team until like the last month or so when we spent 30 million quid.
Yeah,
and changed our sights.
Yeah, it's a good question, and one that, I mean, we've been in the Championship for 11 seasons now. This is our 12th season. Wow. I think us and Preston are the 2 teams that have been in this league. And yeah, you're right. I don't really know. I mean, we are very much a 16th place team, 19th. I don't want to be in a relegation battle again like we have been the last couple of 2 or 3 seasons. So anything above that will probably be acceptable. But we are starting to spend some money, so something's got to give at some point soon, mate. But yeah, if we can keep everyone fit this season, we've got some really good players. So I'm hoping that we won't be down there.
I mean, just looking at your form, it's erratic is probably the best way of describing it. So, opened it with was it a draw at
Preston? Yeah,
against Preston, and then lost 3-2 to Plymouth in the cup, lost 2-1 to Watford, 7-1 at Coventry, which, I mean, did you go? How did you feel? I mean,
yeah.
when you have a damaging result like that so early, doesn't mean you followed it with a nice win, you know, over Charlton last time out 3-1, which kind of helps as a reactive result. But I mean, that 7-1 must have been did it put a few early doubts in?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, I was there. I mean, look, Coventry got. I mean, they weren't like outstanding. They had 8 shots on target and scored 7. Their XG
No.
was like a normal XG. It wasn't like 3, 4, 5 XG. Everything went in. Doesn't help. But we were terrible, right? And what you'll realise is even you guys will realise at some point what one
You're
day,
going to get tanking.
yeah, nothing will go right, and it will all go wrong, and you'll lose 4 or 5-0. 7-1's a bit of an over, but it will happen in this league, and it happens often. So it's important how you react, and we reacted really well on Saturday, 3-1. I mean, it was 1-1 until the 70th odd minute, so it could have gone either way, but you know, we managed to get result, and it will kind of be forgotten now a little bit.
Yeah.
Can
I ask you about the manager? Because just looking at your sort of manager history, you tend to you have been a bit left field for the last couple of times. You've got Julian Stefan. Am I saying that right?
That's right. Yeah, he's French.
From French. From Rennes. Gone out a bit of a limb with him. What's wrong with Neil Warnock? Just bring Neil Warnock back.
Mate, I'd love Neil Warnock back. I mean, yeah, that would be brilliant. I think the fans would have took him as well. I think it's our chief executive, Christian Noy's French, so I think there's some sort of connection there. I mean, he comes with big pedigree. He won the cup in France. He's been in the Champions League, and Rennes, Strasbourg are really big teams in France. So he's got some pedigree. But the Championship is, something different. It's not one of your European big 5 leagues. It's 3 games a week. It's mad. It's chaotic. Injuries just happen so much. It's a joke. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts, and whether he's as stubborn as Cifuentes was, who wants to just play one way and that's the way, or whether he can adapt. So we'll see. But yeah, been happy so far.
What is his formation? Is it 3-5-2? Because that's Parky's formation, so stay away from it.
No, we stay well clear of that, mate. We have it's a 4-2-3-1 hybrid, and it goes into a 4-3-3 out of the board, stuff like that. So that's our game model, right? That we get told every week by everyone at the club. We'll live and die by that, I think, mate, unless there's injury crisis.
Strengths and weaknesses, and a key man that we need to be aware of.
Yeah. So
apart from Kone.
Yeah, I mean, Poku and Chair are out injured, right? And there are 2 main men.
I love Chair. I went to see you a couple of seasons ago against Everton in the Cup, and Chair, I'd never heard of him, but he was absolutely brilliant.
He's brilliant. He's just a little wizard, but he's experienced now. He's got over 250 appearances in this level, so he's really good. But he's injured. So is Poku. I don't think any of them are going to be back for Saturday.
Poku's the former Peterborough fella, is it?
Yeah. He's our again big signing for us in the summer. He looked class in pre-season, but first game of the season goes down with a hamstring injury. Wouldn't you know it? So he's out. I mean, weaknesses are we're playing a bit of silly buggers with our keeper. We've got a really good keeper in Nardi, but we're playing our youth keeper because he's English and has some talent, and we play him and we can add, like I said, we're a selling club, right? So we've got a 30-odd-year-old French goalkeeper, but we've got a young keeper, and he's really struggling. So I'd say that's a really big weakness. We've got rid of the old playing out from the back that he was doing because he couldn't do it. So rather than put someone in who can, we've decided to just bin that and go a bit more direct. And our strengths are we've got, Sato, I don't know, he scored at the weekend, a little Japanese striker. He's really good. He came in on Saturday and scored. So our options going forward, we've got Dembele, Karamoku Dembele, who's a really, really good player. Yeah, little Paul Smith, a lot of little players, mate. That if they get space, they'll do some damage. But we're struggling away from home at the minute, so whether we can get them that space is the challenge. But hopefully, with Kone coming in, we might be able to do that.
Cool. Just a word on Loftus Road. Is there any sort of plans to ever move away, or are you sort of locked in there?
Oh, mate, we can't. We had a bit of an argument with the council, and that we're not their biggest fans. They very much love Fulham and Chelsea because they're in the Premier League. So, and space in London where we are in W12 or in around Hammersmith there is none.
Yeah.
Right, there's a few parks here and there, but they're not they're not going to be used for a stadium. So, and I don't know, you've obviously been there. It's right in the middle of a residential
it's
area.
landlocked basically, isn't it?
Yeah. If we build up, we're blocking sunlight to houses and stuff like that. Houses cost £1 million for one house, in and around there. So it's pretty impossible to be able to do anything. So for the short term, I think that's it. Long term is we probably have to move out of the borough.
Right, sad.
Yeah, which is pretty contentious, but we've got to do it because Loftus Road isn't sustainable to bring in income, which other clubs have got. So frustrating.
Yeah. Tim, any last questions before we do predictions?
I think that's pretty much everything. But Ben, just tell people, name your podcast, where they can find you and all that sort of stuff, or socials.
Yeah, W12 podcast. Yeah, we've been going for 4 or 5 years now. We get ex-players and managers. We've had Neil Warnock, Charlie Austin. We had a player this week, and John Varane, who's really good, by the way, key man to watch out for, centre midfielder, the brother of Varane.
So you get actual players. You get people who are playing now. Wow.
Yeah, I've been quite lucky. Yeah, quite in with the head of marketing and stuff like that, which is I'm just fortunate. And yeah, I mean it helps the club, right? Because we take a lot of young players as well and give them a bit of experience in media and questions and stuff like that. So it kind of works both ways. But so yeah, we're on all platforms. So any QPR fans out there, give us a listen if you aren't.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much. Right, should we go into predictions then? Tim, do you want to go first?
No, Ben can go first as the guest. You can
go
first.
okay.
Are you coming up? Are you coming up for the game?
Yeah, coming up. Yeah, looking forward to it. Not been up there for a little while, obviously. Last time we played each other was a long time ago, wasn't it? Early 2000s, I think.
I think the last time you played us, the one of the greatest ever social housing estates in Wales was then known as Queen's Park. Was it, Andy? Kaya Park, formerly known as Queen's Park. So there you go.
Yeah.
Little known.
You were playing
Queen's
Park at home. Yeah.
Yes, I'm coming up. So I reckon. I mean, look, 1-1 is probably where I predicted for my podcast, so I'll probably stick with that. But I mean, it could be anything. Really good. We could lose 3-0. We could surprise everyone and win 2-0. So, but I'm going to stick with 1-1.
Tim,
I'm going to go 2-1. I never, ever, ever take any notice of AI, but for some bizarre reason, I found myself asking my phone various questions on the drive home from work. I was like, anyway, so what's the score going to be? Anyway, most people are saying it's going to be 2-1 to Wrexham. I was like, I'll go with that then. So that's what I'm sticking with. So if I get that wrong, blame AI, not me.
I did that for my fantasy team and it didn't work. Just as an FYI.
I think it will be tight because again we're still finding our feet. We've got brand spanking new players that haven't even featured yet.
There's another 2 or 3 to come in.
Yeah,
so.
we've got players coming back from injury. It's just like it's literally
30 odd million spent. Is that right?
30 odd million. Yeah, 33.
Jeez, mate, is there high expectation your end that you're going to? I mean, spending that amount of money, apart from sort of your Ipswiches.
Ask us in a month's time.
The key thing, Ben, is this is a team with its remnants in non-league. There's 3 or 4 players, more before the transfer window, who came all the way up with us. And once you get to the Championship, it is so stark, the difference.
Yeah.
Now, people say that there's a huge difference between League 2 and League 1. I wouldn't have said so, but between League 1 and the Championship, it is massive. Yeah. And I think we needed a big overhaul. Everyone was surprised at how big it was and how much we did in one window, because usually you'd do that over 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I think getting rid of our 16 players we let go this summer. So we're in transition. We're in transition, and I think a while. We might click. We might win a few in a row, and suddenly towards the end of the season, we're staring at the playoffs. But if we're in any position around January, I think they'll probably spend again.
Mad, mate, that. So your FFP is all right. I suppose you've got a lot of income from everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we sell so many thousands of shirts. Not sorry, I nearly said hundreds of thousands then. But Tim, what do you reckon? It was 65,000, something like that.
Yeah,
shirts?
it was 65 or 70,000 shirts, which is nice.
And then
you times that by 50. That's quite a lot in it of income.
Yeah, and so we're okay on FFP. And the problem we have, which you'll find on Saturday, is like we can't maximize our match day revenue due to the constraints we've got on building the new stand.
What's going on with that? I see it's not doesn't look like it's even close to being built from what I saw. As in, it's just like, do you know what I mean? It's not building work or anything like that. Is it just not going to happen?
I mean, people are saying it might be being built away and then will be transported in. Right. So I think there is work going in on it. It's just
on what?
I don't know. I rocket four Chinooks.
That's a fucking big drone, that is. Yeah, four Chinooks dropping it in.
So look, the club has gone so better than anyone could imagine on the pitch. It's just catching up off it, and that's why we had a 20-minute chat about tickets, which you were well out of.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that.
Right, I think that's it.
Did you give your prediction? Did I miss it?
Yeah, no, one each.
One each.
Oh no, I didn't. No, sorry.
No, you didn't, did you?
No, I didn't. I had a dream last night that all these new players clicked and we won 3-0.
Yeah.
So
well, it could happen, mate, quite easily. So
you've also had a dream that 7,500 football stands going to materialize out of thin air and be lowered onto a large pot of
by crane, by helicopter.
Yeah,
like something out of June or whatever. That's crazy. That. Oh, wild.
Well, I'm no engineer, right?
True.
Thanks very much for listening, guys. Please like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff, and good luck for the weekend.
Take care. Cheers.